I thought that at age 55 or so that I was going to retire. I was almost 20 years ago. I originally started in pharmacy school, hating chemistry. So why would I go to pharmacy school? That is a good question. I can't answer it. After 2 years, I decided, well, I'm going to do something else. And a lot of things went through my mind, but one thing I like to do is write, and so I thought journalism. And I like math, and I like to be outdoors, maybe being a surveyor. But my parents had lived through the Depression, and when I told my mother my ideas, she said, no, you have to choose something in medicine because it's depression-proof. So I wanted to do something that was direct care. And that's how I got into physical therapy, not knowing anything about physical therapy other than you worked with your hands on patients. I was a physical therapist, graduated in 1971. Spent a year in New York City at Fordham Hospital in the Bronx, which serves South Bronx, commonly referred to as Spanish Harlem, and saw awful stuff. I mean, terrible things that people do to each other. But I got a lot of experience, moved to California, bought a private practice in Laguna Beach. And that was a time in physical therapy when you were paid more if you were bad. Meaning, the longer the patient was with you, the more you got paid. There was no managed care. You keep a patient, just keep billing, and they kept paying. Physical therapy was modality-based. There was some exercise, but it was a lot of heat, ultrasound, shortwave diathermy, infrared, and it took me no time at all to come to the conclusion I was ripping off my patients, that I was doing things that did not make them better. So I quit the profession in 1974. So I decided I could travel for 5 years if I lived out of a van. So I did that. I didn't travel fully for 5 years, but I traveled a couple of years throughout the United States, Mexico, Central America, and got back to the United States, started a nonprofit health education company, which, let's put the emphasis on nonprofit. No one was interested in prevention in the mid-70s. So that's when I went to the Peace Corps. When you show up as a Peace Corps volunteer, they don't know you're coming because somebody 2 or 3 or 4 years previously applied for volunteer help. By then the staff has changed. So you show up and they go, oh, who are you? Well, I'm a Peace Corps volunteer. Okay, what would you like to do? I decided to do curriculum development and textbook writing the first year, and then the second year, teach a teacher how to teach that course, which was kinesiology, which is the science of body and motion. And how we actually launched our Bachelor of Science upgrade was the Vice Chancellor of Amherst International University was the guy I taught how to teach kinesiology back in the late 70s. Again, serendipity. You never know what's going to happen in life. So that's Peace Corps volunteer. And when we first went to Kenya, everybody, I mean, my name was known because of that textbook. I wrote a 380-page kinesiology textbook, had it printed and distributed for free. I had 500 copies printed, so for 10 years, they could use the textbook, give it to new students for free. And when I showed up in 2010, people still had those books. It was crazy. So I was known, and that made it easy to break into Kenya.